Welcome to the DevReady podcast. Welcome, Katerina. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So I'll let you introduce yourself and give us a bit of background so I don't stuff that up.
It is a lot. It is a bit of a long one. So I have a startup called Immersifi, which came about from a personal experience and which was really bad customer engagement and customer experience. In the fashion industry, I've been around it all my life, but not been around tech all my life. And also not, as they say, not a linear transition into this world, but it all came together in the end after many years of fashion, many years of of tech, and then my love of tech. So what happened was I found a gap out there where there is a loyalty membership issue with contemporary luxury fashion, and there's a almost secret membership level of VIPs, and you can only get them if you spend a certain amount or if someone verifies you and says, yes, we love you, you can come on board. And I didn't think that was fair anymore. I thought there was a lot of bias in there. Also, we're in a place of instant gratification. So I'm like, okay, I'm really heavily into crypto, and I'm like, it's crashing. I need to know what this stuff does. What does this tech do? And then all these things started happening in the fashion industry, and I started putting it out there, and this is how Immersify was born. I'm like, oh my goodness, my two loves ended up merging, and that was that. That was a bit of a roundabout way, but yeah, it's yeah.
It's always good, yeah, when you can find two things that you enjoy working on and bring them together. There's
Yeah.
there's never really any brand new ideas. It's like everything's a remix. It's different things coming together to solve another problem in a different industry. So you've found that market and identified it. So this problem in this luxury retail space, the main one I can think of is those Hermes bags, and you have to have a certain level of spending and know people, and otherwise they won't even let you look at anything. Like, is
Yeah.
that, for those who don't know, they're what, $40,000 for a handbag, and it's a
Yeah,
certain
but
level of people that spend to be able to get to that be able to even look at that product.
well, in defense of Hermes, they're an investment, by the way. They do
Yeah,
tend to outperform the S&P 500. We'll just, um,
they do.
but it's all part of it. There are many stores. I went to buy a well-known branded watch for one of my sons for his birthday, and I'm still waiting a year later, and it's just like, you're not that special. So it's just like it's the difference. There's a big difference. It's shifting now, and I think the companies like Hermes and your Rolexes and your Patek Philippe, they're all going to be changing where the consumer is now going to be the center of the universe as opposed to the brand.
Yeah.
And that's what we're tackling. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that whole being consumer centric, that probably sort of revolves all around the experience. So it's having that store effectively that have, which is a showroom, but it doesn't feel like a showroom. It's, you're going in there and you're getting an experience. So how does your platform facilitate that movement?
So with we want to get into that contemporary luxury level, which means that it's not quite your Hermes, so you're maybe one or two rungs underneath that, because they're the ones that are experiencing the everyday. We don't go into Hermes every day,
Of course,
and well, some of us don't.
we're not in Monaco.
Yeah. And so what it does is basically, as I was saying earlier, there's a level of membership that's available that isn't known, and it is a bit like the Hermes. You have to spend this amount, or you have to be known, or what have you. But what happens when those people aren't there anymore? Those sales associates. There's such a high
Hmm.
staff turnover at the moment, as well as especially after COVID. There's been such a high staff turnover, and so what happens? I've been going into a store 10 times every day or what have you, and suddenly they don't know who I am because of staff turnover. So that's one part we're addressing, where with the membership and the platform, you notify the store that you're coming in, and they're getting alerts, not only to that you're coming in, how you want to be treated, if you're feeling like being pampered today, or you just want to have a look, don't bother me, I'm not in the mood to talk to anybody, or
Yep.
yeah. And so it has all that information as well as your style, and that comes through AI. We're doing AI stylists and so forth, and that gets built up on data as you go. And then we have the body scan come in. So it will, you on your phone, you'll be taking a scan of your body, and it will then get matched to that brand's measurements. So the person in store, doesn't matter whether they know you or not, will know your size, your style, and have a change room ready for you when you walk in. And it's not just women, it's men too, because there are a lot of men, although it is changing a bit, men do like to shop, and men's luxury fashion is on the increase more than women's. And so it's men who don't always like to shop. Imagine walking into a store, you've got all your things ready in that change room. You go in, you try them on. Yep, that's great. Yep, I'm out in 10 minutes. It's like a dream for a guy. Whereas
Yeah, it just
for a
makes it
woman,
quick and
it's
easy.
more about exactly. And then when so you do go to order online as well. If you're thinking about something, you didn't buy it, but oh no, I do want it online, and you just go online and order it. You've got your sizing already there because it's all matched. It's all matched up. So and that experience is what's missing in store, because retail needs an absolute overhaul. And it's I don't know. It all, as I was saying before, it started when I went in, and I was a quite a good customer of this store, and I went to buy something, and they just went, "Have you shopped with us before?" And I just felt really there. Like I'm like,
Yep.
I would have spent so much more. And that's true. That's what we do, as especially, as men, as women, as humans, when we're getting catered to, we actually spend maybe a little bit longer there, or where we will spend more. And I've had brands say to me, if they've had people lose thousands, so their staff lose thousands of dollars because they didn't know that was that client that
Yep.
was coming in and looking after those important clients. So, and also having this type of membership, which is NFT membership, and don't get scared of the word NFTs. It's not about,
Yeah.
the
Funny pictures.
punks and the yeah, exactly.
Yep.
An NFT just means that, and these are dynamic NFTs, which means we can change the offering on the actual NFT. So it's just some tech
Yep.
that's there, but it
It's a
gives all
loyalty
these
card,
options.
effectively. Like a digital loyalty card.
Yeah,
That's what that
but you're
gives you. Yeah.
yeah, and you're paying for it though. This is
Yes.
not an earn and burn points loyalty. You're paying for
Mm-hmm.
this membership, which, you know what, at the end of the day, if you're not happy with their membership and the brand has to work at keeping your loyalty, you can actually sell it.
Okay.
And
Yep.
a certain percent will go back to the brand, but you'll be able to sell it. So you're going, you know what, like, no, I'm not feeling it. It's okay. And then so that gives people that incentive as well to go, it's okay. I'm not having a huge risk, because it's a mainly female market, we are more risk averse than men, so we're going to be a bit more cautious, and
Yep.
that's why that's in place as well.
Okay. So
Yeah.
having that tech and that vision in mind, and then being able to provide that ability, so that experience you've had, if you went to, say, a small local retail store, they'll remember your face because it's very personable. Are you seeing that there's a problem on those luxury brands where maybe the sales associates think they're at a different level than some of the people coming in, or that is because they have the control of what you can and can't see, that they're a bit more like, oh, have you actually spent with us before?
Both.
Yep.
So yes, there's definitely been some of those luxury ones like that I have been in so many times, and they've come in and going, oh, and you are, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just
Yep.
their attitude puts you off instantly.
Yep.
Whereas if they knew me, then it would be very different. And I think, that's long gone. There
Mm-hmm.
is that is so yesterday. You know what I mean? It's so last
Yep.
Tuesday, that type of um treatment of consumers. They're going to work a lot harder for their dollar these days. So they have to give you that experience as well.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of these places still have that attitude. Whether they mean to, and some of it could come from the top. I don't know, but
You don't know.
you want to. Yeah, you want to be able to try and make change there and have all of that. We don't want any Pretty Woman moments. All right, I'm showing my age now with that reference to that movie, but
Oh,
we
it's
don't
got
want
to
any
be.
big mistakes.
Yeah, it needs to be customer centric. Regardless if you're building a software product or retail experience or providing a service, if you provide value to your customer and you look after them, you'll get more customers. That's it. That's how you keep that rapport going. You keep repeat business. So with that retail experience, there was a story I think I saw on TikTok or Instagram the other day. There was some celebrity that walked into a Chanel store in America and she was just dressed in like trackies. And they said, "No, I don't know who you are." And they kicked her out of the store. Then she came back the next day all dressed up. They let her in and she just walked straight out. She didn't buy anything, just to prove the point
Yeah,
that she was who she was. So it happens
that was
everywhere. And
Bethany.
it is a problem. Yes, that's it. I couldn't think of her
It,
name.
it yeah, yeah, Bethany. She was from Housewives or something.
Frankel or Frankel or
Not
something.
that Bethany
Oh, I don't know.
Franklin. She started Skinny
Yeah.
Margarita. Yeah, she was the
Okay.
creator
Yeah, I
of
don't know
Skinny
the show. I just
Margarita.
knew she was some celebrity.
Yeah. All right. I don't know anything about housewives either. Okay. So, but yeah, exactly. Like, she didn't have an appointment or something, and she went
Yeah.
on. I actually have been following that story as well,
Okay.
and she went on, and Chanel Marketing didn't even reach out to her. Like, it was just she had all this opportunity there, but there's a lot
Yeah.
happening at Chanel at the moment, so I think
Oh,
they're just taking a step back.
yeah. And I think, like you said earlier, so since COVID, the whole retail has had a big change. I think probably that in my mind, the direction will end up being if there's a retail store, it's there for a showroom, and some point in the future will be you order, and by the time you get home, you'll have your products, so they'll arrive. Like the Amazon has that 2 hour delivery, but it'll be for most retail stores. I think that's probably the direction things are going because you don't get drawn to a shopping center like you used to 20 years ago just because that's where everyone went. Things don't happen like that anymore.
Mm,
So you have identified something there that is if you can provide an experience and then you've got this club which makes it a little bit more exclusive, the people might feel better about themselves being in there and going through those experiences as well. They get access now to better opportunities for purchasing limited products or things that are hard to get. And then they're going to have a personalized experience in the store. Now you're differentiating from the rest of the market. So I can see how this can work in that space and attract people to use it.
It's also getting and building their community as well into the space because I really want to provide for them to be able to provide some type of sustainability as well. So my thinking behind there was and knowing that the customer is starting to become more the centric level, if you're in a level 1 or level 2, level 3, depending what level membership you got in, you're actually going to be able to get that round table discussions with the designers. You're going to be able to
Oh,
have
well.
those, in discussions and go, okay, guys, look, I really loved that. And, then the brands are seeing what really worked, what they didn't like, and they can then look at future orders, future designs, future everything to cater more to what people are buying and what the market is telling them in better times. So, yes, you can't take their creativity away, but you've got to listen to the consumer at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
there's no use having racks of clothes sitting there. So let's get it to where what's going to be bought and not have all this fashion sitting there. And we see all the wastage that's come
Yeah. I
with
think
that. But
that probably comes with the fast fashion term, as they call it. It's every year they just have forced to bring out some new style because they have to keep having change, and then that's what people are looking for now. But if you're listening to the consumer and you've got that whole circular feedback happening, that will help you drive the direction and know, all right, we won't bring back something that was out 3 years ago in a different color just because, or whatever the example may be, because that's not what's going to be bought and it won't be sitting around, and then you won't have those outlets and it doesn't cheapen the brand at that level.
Absolutely, because it's horrible to go and buy something and then the next day it's on sale. Like it's not a great feeling. So let's get back
No.
the quality in there, and so they don't have to do that because they need it's turnover. It's they need their cash turnover at the end of the day, and building this community in there. And again, this is why the NFT, so we can put it all onto the blockchain and the brands can get to know their community a lot better.
Yeah.
Then and have those deeper insights as well, can tailor more to their customers. And what they do then is have partnerships coming through as well. So it's not just sitting there having talking about, oh, let's fashion or what have you. There's going to be so much more to it because
Yeah.
people have a lot more substance and need a lot more from their brands these days. So not only having those personalized experiences, but bringing in the community, bringing in the exclusivity. Because let's face
Hmm.
it, we all want what no one else has, but
Yeah,
even
of
down
course.
to a different bag. You've gone
Yeah.
in store and you buy something and you've got a different bag. You're walking out, people are going, well, what's that? And then it's all a start to being able to put their products on the blockchain so they can see who the consumer ends up being. Because, for example, a brand sells in their store, but they might sell in a department store. They don't know who that consumer is in that department store. So we
Hmm.
want to bring that in. Well, why are you missing out on that? You're not getting any of that information. By having this membership and by them starting to get used to blockchain and that sort of thing, then they can start spreading it out further and really get to know their community even better.
Yeah. And then they get a real solid picture on what their audience looks like, the different segments in that audience, the community that's around it, whether there's some of the community that doesn't purchase why, and then being able to try and convert and grow that. So that makes sense. Where are you at in the journey in delivering Immersify?
We're just building the MVP, so we're looking for beta testers,
Yep.
which is always fun for both brands and people. And what we're enticing people with is memberships. Like we're going to have 5 free memberships to give away for any beta tester with their brand of choice, and the brands will get 2 brands will get Immersify free for a year. So it's more about so for us, it's more about getting to know what each one wants, because there's no use us building this
Yep.
massive platform unless we're delivering what they need, and what they like and what they want. And it changes, but we want to make it. We don't want to have to change all the time. So that's why we want to get it right in the first place for them. But be
Yeah.
adaptable
And
with future proofing as well.
yeah, and that's the right approach when you're looking at delivering software. It's build something that will be used, not build it and then hope they will come, because it doesn't happen that way. And then there's a lot of involved in marketing that people don't realize, along with just being able to deliver the app and understand feedback. But yeah, you have to be able to deliver value constantly and use the feedback to guide what you're building. That's key.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
funny, when we were doing the market research, it was very much centered on the sales associate as well. Like I went out to consumers, but that sales
yep.
associate, because they're the ones selling, they're the ones needing the sales. And then what's the value we can deliver to the brand on top of it all? We knew there was
Yeah.
going to be a lot of value there for the brand, but did the sales associates want it? And they're like, hurry up and get it in. So,
Yeah. So yeah, the brand's your customer, but the associates are your users.
mhm,
They have to be the face
yeah.
and interact with it daily and interact with the customers. So have you ever built software before? Is this your first product?
This is my first product. So I brought on a CTO who is experienced in loyalty
Yep.
and experienced in obviously building. And because it was like, how I needed someone who knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
Like,
that was going to be my next question is, yeah, do you have someone to support you with the tech? Because I know you mentioned you've got a husband who's a CPO, but yeah, having a CTO, a tech founder is probably another thing
mhm.
that we suggest to people is it's very important because you don't know what you don't know. And software is very complex.
Yeah, yeah. And then add all the whole blockchain and crypto, all that onto it, and AI and everything. You're going, like, I know the capabilities of this, but where to start? So
Yeah.
it is crazy, but yeah.
Have you had any interesting learnings along the way during the MVP? Have you had to pivot on any of the initial things, or did you really go out early and understand what you were building?
Oh no, I pivoted. Absolutely, absolutely. Because apparently they couldn't do what I wanted. I was too
Okay.
ambitious with what I wanted. It was like, fine, all right, let's tone it down. So we've and it's I've had to tone down the offer, not the offering, but in how quick I can get these things out as well, because it's just stage one is just the actual into store experience and what
Yep.
the brands are going to get from there. Then stage two is the body. We've got body scans, the AI stylist, and so forth. And then we're actually going into as I sort of mentioned before, we're future proofing, and then we're going all into the metaverse. Metaverse just being immersive experience, whether it be Roblox
Yep.
or a metaverse type of thing, like
Hmm.
Sandbox. But it's more about future proofing, because we know these Gen Zs, they want an online presence. They're not spending all their time online as people think that, oh no, they're just going to be online all the time. No, they're not. They actually, the research is showing they want the experience in store. 80% will buy in store if they're getting that good experience, but they will research and do everything else online. And they want a presence online. They want these avatars online. They want to be dressed in what they've bought as well. So it goes all the way up to there. And because I couldn't do that all together, they made me pull it apart and do things.
Build it in
Yeah,
stages.
and there were, yeah, apparently, like, it was too hard and it was going to cost gazillions. I'm like, but and also too, just the actual offering, because I started with just a basic loyalty program of earn and burn, but then everyone was doing that, and that's what I found. I did a year of market research before we even named the company. So I was
Yep.
doing about a year of that. And yeah, so it started of just a normal loyalty, earn and burn, NFT, but I wasn't seeing the value in it. I really wasn't seeing how it was going to make an impact
Yep.
and what it was going to do for the brands.
And something you mentioned there, that market research, and you spent a year on it, and that's
Hmm.
probably 365 days more than what most people do who start a business. A lot of them who have an idea, a lot of people just jump straight into building. And that causes chaos. And you've avoided some big problems by taking your time, understanding who your target market is. You had an original idea, you researched it. All right, that didn't work out. How do you pivot, use that, but evolve it to the next level? And I'm sure you've probably done that a couple times. And then the other
Hmm.
thing is with the tech, everyone assumes you can just do anything you can think of, but there is limitations to what can happen currently. So AI can do a lot of things at the moment, but I'm assuming where you wanted to take it, it could be a year away, or it could be next week if someone releases something. But to build that tech capability,
Hmm.
that's another business on its own, just to deliver probably that aspect, let alone integrating that with your actual application that you're building.
Yeah, so
And
that's
that,
why they held me back a little
so
bit on
that's always
that.
something to, yeah, oh, definitely, I can imagine, because you're then taking on three, four projects that are all the same size, let alone just the one with those three projects that you can include because someone else has built that part of another business that provides that to you.
Mm, yeah. It's and it's funny because when I was doing the market research, it all started with my personal experience. I think, as I mentioned before, then I went
Yep.
to my girlfriends going, "Are you experiencing this?" And then it was like, yes. And then I went to the wider audience. And I think if you know they always say, well, I did get very heavily involved in the Web3 world, and it was almost like they're finding the solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Yep.
And I did, and I didn't want to do that. Like, I just happened to stumble across this, going, aha, this was the moment. So that was definitely, it's been long. I was working full time as well,
Hmm.
and doing all of this, and then I gave all that up in November last year, to really concentrate on Immersify and give it everything, because I saw the traction coming through.
Yep.
So Yeah. And then I had
That's
actually just a little win was when was it? Not yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. One of my top three, when you have they're the top three, there's my top three clients that I
yep.
really want to get. I had one of them reach out to me. So it was
Oh,
like,
nice.
oh, that was such a win. Yeah, I was absolutely stoked. So I'm like, yay, because we know as startup founders, your life's a roller coaster in an
Yep,
hour.
definitely.
So
Yeah, it can change. Yeah, very quickly. Like we've just released a an AI product that helps in our consulting. We've been building a tool internally that we use daily, and we released the first version, which helps startups generate a brief for their idea and explore it, so they can actually communicate it and talk about it properly. And I didn't. We'll put it out. We got the beta version out, and we didn't have any signups. I thought, and then we got one, and it's like just having that one sign up out of a random thing by putting it out there. It's a
yeah,
win, and you get excited. You're like, all right, maybe people will like this. But then, yeah, if you can actually get one of those customers that you're targeting, and then they're reaching out, it takes you to a different level again.
yeah, yeah. And where were you, a year ago when I was starting my pitch deck?
I was working on my idea. I was on the
It
couch
would have
every
been
night coding.
amazing. Oh my God, that would have been absolutely amazing to have.
Yes, and in
Yeah,
about you can go through it. AI will help you answer the questions about how to describe and explore your product, and then you can refine it. You can go through it in as quick as 5 minutes, or you can do it in 3 hours if you want to take your time and answer. There's only 8 questions, so it's not something complicated, but it does help. So having that feedback without you even knowing what it does is very good. So going through that journey now, just saying on that pitch deck and being able to formulate your actual like value proposition and what you're delivering, did you have a lot of trouble, or is it because you had spent that time researching, you understood the market, you knew you had made those right pivots, you had the restrictions on tech? Was it easier then to create that pitch deck, or I know you're still selling the vision in
absolutely
that.
not. Absolutely not, because my vision is absolutely huge.
Okay.
I have probably, I'm not kidding,
Yep.
20, at minimum 20 versions of my pitch deck. And yeah, no word of lie. I don't know. I couldn't get it together. And I've been in marketing for 25 years, mind you. So for me, as a
You have the
marketer,
experience.
and even my co-founder, we both had this experience, and it
Yep.
was just like, how are we not nailing it? And it was because it was so big, and because we were so close. It was like, radio, take it out, take it out to someone who doesn't know anything about it, and then bring it back to us. And I still tweak it every time I send it out, almost, because I'm just like, oh no, 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 this or that, and I do have to stop. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, minimum 20 iterations of that pitch deck for sure.
Yeah, it's never as easy as someone thinks. Even when you have gone through all the right checks and balances that you've gone through, it still takes time. And then you probably have to adjust that depending on who you're sending it to. And all right, if this is a VC, these are the sort of portfolios that they invest in. All right, let's tweak it so it more aligns to what they're after, or it has the right feel for them.
Even down to tone of voice on who I'm addressing it to. There will
Yep.
be certain words. So when I do the research on whether it be VC, Angel, the brand, whoever that might be, their tone of voice I look at, because then it's so much more identifiable for them. They feel
Hmm.
familiar, and as we know in marketing, if someone needs to see something 7 times before it resonates with them, and it's a lot more these days because of our attention economy is just like, forget it. Thank you, TikTok.
Yeah.
Thank you. God love them.
Yep.
But so if I'm getting that tone of voice and using words that they are familiar with, then you can cut through a little bit quicker as well. So when I send out a pitch deck, there's probably a day or more worth of research and tweaking those little things. I
Yeah,
know
on the
it's a
target.
lot,
Uh,
but it's yeah,
it makes sense, but that's you trying to make the most out of the opportunity you have. If you put in a little bit of
hmm
work, then all right, it may not get anywhere, but you might be one step closer to doing that. And every time you try, you're giving yourself more of a chance of getting there. And that's,
yeah,
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 important for everyone to know. It's tweak that to who you're talking to. Same way you're trying to identify who your stakeholders are and delivering them value. Whoever's reading it needs to understand it. And yeah, talking in their tone and their language makes more sense.
yeah. And also on going out to VCs, I see so many people just go out to anybody. You need to go out to who's going to bring value to you, not just dollars, but who's going to
Yeah.
bring value and what they do. And I've actually sort of when I had VCs approach, I've sort of said, I don't know if we're a great fit because they couldn't get the vision, but they wanted to give me money. And I love
Yeah.
that. But that can be detrimental to a company. You've got to be really careful. And I'm in it for like, I want to see this thing through. I'm in it for the long haul. We always have an
Yeah.
exit strategy, but I'm in it for the long haul. I really want to see it come through, and be very careful on who you bring on board as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not just the money, like you mentioned. Having someone that can either bring a network or an into a
Mm.
brand potentially, or a larger VC for you to Series A, or at least provide value and help you along the journey. So, where to with Immersify from here?
Where to? Well, when they rein me in on what we're building, it is right now. It's all about getting beta testers on board and getting in front of continually researching. I never stop researching, and that's with brands, with people in the industry, with innovators. I continually do that. So right now we're actually building that MVP and getting it in front of brands and getting in front of people and just really pushing it out there. We've got a marketing strategy all coming up soon because you can't do it all yourself. But up until now, we're bootstrapped. Up until now, you've sort of got to
Yeah.
do it as much as you can. And now it's like, let's pull the
Yeah.
plug, let's go for it. And we want people to come on board and come along our journey and give us all the feedback. So yeah, it's going to be super exciting and really change.
It's
Yeah,
an exciting
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Well, you would know, like, yeah.
Yeah, getting to that point of launching, and then all right, you've got users. How do you start tweaking? How do you keep adding value? All right, now it's taking feedback from the customers even more than you were before, and all right, now this is what people who are using it want, not what I think they would have
Yeah,
needed.
great advice.
Yeah, you've ticked all the right boxes getting to this point, and I'm sure you'll keep ticking them as you go. You've got the plan in place, and you're following it along. So it's
Yep, we're
exciting times ahead. Then
revolutionizing that customer experience. So come along with us.
I'm sure there'll be people listening on board, listening to the episode and want to help jump on board. If anyone wants
I'm
to
on
reach out, how
LinkedIn,
can they do that?
Katerina Ali. And also Immersify is on LinkedIn. If you can't remember Katerina Ali, I'm on Instagram under Immersify. And I've got a personal one on there as Katerina Style, but that's very opinionated. I'm Twitter as well. So I'm across most of it. We're just about to launch TikTok. Yeah, so it's all
Yeah,
under
everywhere.
Katerina. If you search
Yep.
Katerina,
Oh,
so
nice.
Katerina Ali, you'll find me.
Yep. All right. Well, if we'll put all those links in the show notes, we'll get them from you. And once again, thank you for your time today, and wish you luck with the continued
Yeah, thank you,
expansion in
Anthony,
your
and I
beta
can't
testing.
wait to be getting your pitch deck assistant coming through as well. Yeah,
Yeah, we're happy to
absolutely. All
send it
right.
out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.